Looking for my
Yeah.
notebook, but I don't know what is that.
Okay. So, we are going to start with the last subject. Okay,
Yes.
discussing repairs and maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is the main idea. And actually, the photo of this unit are some tools, or we can say it like repair tools,
Air
like
tools,
some
okay.
claws and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are we gonna do? What are we gonna see? What's
Mm-hmm.
the objective of this unit?
Okay.
I'm gonna read the first part. It says this section begins by contrasting the
Mm-hmm.
difference between repairs and
Mm-hmm.
maintenance. Okay,
Okay.
with many types of modern technology, of course, maintenance programs and carefully planned at design stage.
Mm-hmm.
This involves attributing lifespans to components, like planning how long they are able to function effectively and safely, and thus prescribing when they need to be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And this is known as the preventive or preventative maintenance,
Mm-hmm.
that is aiming to avoid breakdowns by replacing the parts in time. A breakdown, it's similar to the mental breakdown. It's like a shock. Shock. Okay, that means when your mind, or in this case, the machine,
Uh-huh.
cannot do anymore. It's
Mm.
breakdown. Okay, it's
Perfect.
common. If we talk about financial topics, it will be bancarrota. If you talk
Mm-hmm.
about engineering and mental topics or
Uh-huh.
issues, that will be common shock.
Shock.
Okay. That means no more. The machine works no more. Okay. And why? Because you need to repair something, or maybe it needs the maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And could you
Okay.
please help me reading the second paragraph?
Another trend.
Hmm.
Another trend as technology becomes more sophisticated is the tendency for devices and mechanism
Hmm.
to be built as sealed unit, slash non-serviceable
Hmm.
parts whose internal components cannot be repaired or replaced on site, requiring replacement of the complete unit or requiring the unit to be sent back to the manufacturer. You could discuss some of this as designer slash manufacturers and slash or as users. Mhm.
Uh-huh. This second paragraph makes reference
Mhm.
to the complete units repair.
Mhm.
That is called sealed unit. You know the meaning of seal, like unificado, sellado.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's really common that nowadays, and it's something true. Nowadays, the smartphones are sealed units, like
Uh-huh.
iPhone, Samsung, Huawei.
Yeah.
They create sealed smartphones. But
Mhm.
if we go back in time, like 6 years, maybe five
Mhm.
years, you might remember that the smartphones or the cell phones, we actually, if we want to change the SIM card or the SD card, the memory card, then
Mhm.
what we should have to do, it was to take out the back tape, and then in some cases take out the battery, and
Uh-huh.
then the SIM.
In this case, we can talking about quality or warranties for the manufacturer. Thinking about in the factories or brands, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
with damage and internal components. I,
Uh-huh.
I, I, I here I see. a big difference between repairs and maintenance. Repairs in this case is when I have a failure.
Mm-hmm.
It's necessary to arm or repair a device, in this case a cell phone. But it's interesting. Require the quality of the brand. So I can request to the factory
Uh-huh.
one warranty parts or warranty product. No.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course, when it's in time.
Hmm. Okay. Good.
Okay,
Mm,
so let's think about difference between repairs and maintenance. What's the difference?
okay.
Talking about your work area, what's the difference between a repairing and a maintenance?
Okay. Well, I told you before, repairs is when I have a technical problem and
Huh?
I need to solve that problem. You know,
Mhm.
it's necessary change sometimes change parts or change the product one for one. I mean, one by one. Mhm. It depends. It depends. But for the client, it's important get one product with quality, or and so it's necessary solve the problem or any solve some problems for get the better function. No? The better function. It
Mm-hmm.
depends of like device or machine or anybody. No, anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So maintenance is like program. I think is um, to prevent to prevent some failure or any
Mm-hmm.
failure or in this case uh, mm, keep the function or
Mm-hmm.
a good function for the device. No, I think is important the preventive maintenance
Yes, to
or
avoid.
correctives. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
So is part of the life of
Mm-hmm.
the product. No.
Okay, so just to sum up, a repair, yes,
Mm-hmm.
a repair or repairing is something that it's done to
Uh-huh.
correct technical problems after a breakdown have occurred.
Uh-huh.
And the maintenance is, of course, to prevent technical problems from
Okay.
occurring.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the difference as you said.
Yeah.
Okay, now, well, during this unit,
Mm-hmm.
we will find some useful vocabulary, such as the word adjust, disconnect, maybe,
Just okay.
Mhm. Dismantle, drain, examine, reconnect, replace. Works like that.
Uh-huh.
And I move right now to the book. And as we did before, we talked between the difference between repair and
Mm-hmm.
maintenance. And we have some five more words in here. For example, broken,
Uh-huh.
clogged,
Mm-hmm.
defective, faulty, and worn.
Okay.
Okay. You might understand broken as something that does not function. I mean, it's
Exactly.
broken.
Mm-hmm. I
Um,
can I,
hmm?
can I well in this case I can understand broken like product or device is I'm thinking in one word like machine down broken is a fracture in one
Mhm.
equipment. I
Yes.
think is that.
Then the next word, it's clogged. Okay, clogged.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if you know the meaning of clogged.
Yes, clogged is part of when one, in my case, when one filter is
Uh-huh.
clogged because occur no flow of the oil
Uh-huh.
uh, into the filter.
Okay,
uh,
so we will mention clog as an obstruction.
yes,
Okay.
obstruction. Yes,
We
obstruction.
also have the word defective. You know, when it's just
Defective.
like a fabric defect.
Yes, one defect in one product.
Aha,
Or
so that will
like,
be something defective. The
mm-mm.
third word in here, it's faulty. It comes from the word fault.
Yeah, yeah, one file
Okay.
or
Yeah,
one
it's like the
equipment with
failure.
file. Yes, failure.
And well, the last one in this case, it's worn.
Exactly.
Okay,
Worn
I don't
is
know if you understand something by worn.
yes, when one material
Mm-hmm.
mm, detached or detach particles of the I don't know in this case of steel or one some particles of the material. No,
Mm-hmm.
is worn, wear, worn. Exactly. It's,
Yes. Okay, perfect.
mhm,
So that's worn, like desgastado.
exactly.
Okay. So let's think about maintenance. In the past sections, we have been talking about the aircraft maintenance, like airplanes and failures and stuff like that. So I want you to make a comparison between a car maintenance and an aircraft maintenance.
Mhm,
Okay, which aspects are quite similar between a car maintenance and an aircraft maintenance?
mhm.
What can you say about that? I mean, which ones are the similarities between an aircraft and a car?
Aircraft. Well, aircraft service manual or aircraft maintenance is similar, but aircraft. Aircraft. I hear that in the airplanes or
Uh-huh.
planes. Um, However, compared with a car, is totally different because are two different system, uh,
Okay.
because the application are different
Mm-hmm.
in both devices or in both systems. Um, I think it's totally different. Okay.
Okay. I mean, but the maintenance in both cases,
Mhm.
maybe they are the same process, of course, but with different objects.
Yeah.
I mean, both the car and the airplane have a motor maintenance, oil
Mhm.
change,
Yeah.
maybe something else, some pieces, some engines, some
You see, check all fluids, check oil
uh-huh.
fluids, where of the tires or where
Mm-hmm.
lubrication at all vehicle. I don't know, it's so much.
Mm-hmm.
May, but in both cases, the maintenance is planned. Uh,
Uh-huh, yes.
that is similar in both cases, no? It's planned,
Yes, they are
uh,
replaced on a plane maintenance
plane,
program. Hmm.
exact.
And as a main difference, well, I mean, there are some processes, maybe the same pieces,
Mm.
but in such a big scale in the case of the airplane.
Oh,
So
yes.
the standards of
Mhm,
aviation maintenance are
mhm.
more rigorous
Yep,
than
yep,
a one for a car.
yep.
I mean, they're the
Exactly.
same, but
Yes,
of course they make like some more importance to the airplane.
that's a good point. Yes,
Hmm.
it's necessary that training, specialist training, or special training for the technicians is.
Exactly.
Mhm,
So let's get out with this exercise about the vocabulary.
uh-huh,
Now you're seeing a content. This one have descriptions of some activities in some cases that
mhm,
goes with the aircraft service manual to
mhm,
descriptions.
mhm.
Okay, so you have the content of the topics from
Yes,
1
yeah.
through 10, and you have like a short or brief description of that.
Mhm.
As an example, we have the number 1 already answered, and it says opening and dismantling
System.
access panel.
Mm,
So what means that? Taking something to pieces to a low
low
maintenance.
maintenance.
So
Oh,
that is the meaning. I mean, these technical phrases are spread out into something more colloquial language.
mm,
Okay, it's the same but with different words. So to open and dismantling the access panel, that means that you need to take some pieces out
mhm,
to make the
mhm,
maintenance.
mm.
Okay.
Well, in this case, panels. Um, I am thinking in covers, panels.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I don't know, caps. I don't know. Others more uh, pieces of the airplane. No?
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay. Number two is topping up, draining, and replacing coolants and lubricants. Okay.
So
Mm,
according to that, which one is a description of what you're gonna do in that, in topping up, draining, and replacing coolants and lubricants?
well, in this case, is letter D,
Mm-hmm.
adding and changing fluids, right?
Yes.
Yes, because that's fluids. Or there are fluids.
Mm-hmm.
Are fluids? Yes.
Okay, so letter number two, it will be letter D, adding and changing fluids. I mean,
Hmm.
that's like the same, but in some more colloquial words.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Could you please read the third
Mm.
one?
The number three is sorry,
Mm-hmm.
replacing filters.
Filters, yes.
Okay, and filters is maybe is letter C, changing parts that can become clogged.
Exactly. The
Yes.
third letter C.
Mhm.
So when you replace filters, why do you do it? Because you change the parts that can become clogged.
Okay.
Number
Um,
four, it says safely isolating electrical components.
okay.
Mhm. Safely isolating electrical components.
Mhm. Well, in this case, for electrical components is components can be switching off the power supply is letter A in this
Exactly.
case.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Five.
Five is safely disconnecting and reconnecting electrical components, right?
Mhm.
And, in this case, and components. Letter G, taking parts of and refitting them without danger, you know?
Exactly. You take the parts off.
Mm,
That means to disconnect and then reconnect. I mean, disconnect and reconnect, it's the same as taking off and refitting.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Taking out and referring.
The number six says, talks about the mechanical connections to be checked, tightened at each service.
Mhm.
So which one would be?
Well, when it mentioned tightening, it's like
Uh-huh.
B, making sure
Hmm.
certain parts haven't worked loose. Loose is
Yes.
opposite to tight.
Hmm.
Yes.
Great. Could you please read number seven?
Number seven is parts susceptible to wear, damage, to be examined at each service. Mhm.
Hmm.
Damage at each service. And in this case, maybe it's the letter J. No, no, J. Making sure parts
Yeah.
are still in good condition.
Yes, number seven,
Yeah,
it's letter J, making
yeah,
sure the parts are still in good condition.
exactly.
Then what about the sensitive devices to be adjusted at each service?
Mhm. In this case, sensitive devices. Mm,
Hmm.
mm, I don't know. Equipment that needs to be set up. Equipment that needs to be set up precisely. No, equipment that needs to
Okay,
be
so that
set up.
means letter A. No,
Letter
sorry,
E.
letter E.
Letter E. Letter E. Yes, sensitive devices. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exactly.
And number nine, information on non-serviceable parts
Parts.
sealed units. No. In this case, is letter H, components that can be repaired on site. Correct.
Components that can be repaired on site. Yes, letter H. And so the
And
last one, table of component lifespans.
okay, in this case, is detail of how long parts are designed to last.
Mm-hmm.
How long parts are designed to last? Yes, yes. In this case,
Exactly.
is thinking about components lifespans.
Yep. Great.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's make that and let's move to our next. Now it's quite similar. We're gonna match the verbs now according to the meaning of them, to the definition. So we have an example, the word adjust. So all these words are the vocabulary. So we have adjust, and this one goes with letter F. That means to set up carefully by making small changes. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Okay. So
adjust, it's letter F. Now, what about number two, the second one? Okay,
is the number two is drain, right?
exactly.
Uh,
Drain. Drain. What's drain?
Drain is I don't know, take off the fluid or take out the fluid or what fluid
Mm-hmm.
in
Yes, to take out the fluid. I mean to in this case will be like empty a
okay,
liquid.
empty a liquid, yes, empty a liquid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you just make the line to it. I'm gonna make the line in here. Okay, like that.
Okay, exactly.
The next
Three
ones,
is disconnect.
disconnect. Uh-huh.
Disconnect.
What about disconnect? What's
Oh,
disconnect?
okay. Disconnect is take take off one harness or circuit. Remove or isolates from a
Mhm.
circuit or letter J. J.
Exactly, letter J. Mhm.
Okay. Number four is dismantle. Dismantle. Dismantle is like disarm, or I think about it to disarm is establish a connection, apply correct. Maybe take apart assembled components or
Dismantle would be in this case, take apart. Yes, take
assembled
apart
components.
assembled components. That means that you disassemble them.
Dismantle.
In
Okay.
some words, dismantle. Okay,
Mhm.
let me make the line. Letter G. The next one, examine.
Examine. Examine is identify that word like evaluate or
Mhm.
your chain animal part. Check careful. Letter C. Check careful.
Letter C, you check something carefully. Exactly.
Check carefully. Yes, check carefully.
Mhm.
And number six is replace.
What
And
about
this
replace?
change one part. Oh, letter B. Change an old or damaged part. Mhm.
Exactly, letter B.
Right.
Reconnect.
So in this case, reconnect. Establish a connection again. Establish a
To
connection again.
establish a connection again. Perfect.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Service.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Services. Letter A. Carry out planned
Carry
maintenance.
out plant maintenance. Yes, perfect.
Yes. Uh,
Tighten.
Titan. In this case, Titan or tights. Um, excuse me. Apply the correct torque. For example, to loose bolts. Letter H.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So the last one, the word top up or
Mhm.
top up, it's
Okay.
like fill up. Like the
So
phrase fill up. That means to
exactly top up. Okay,
add
letter E.
more fluid until you fill.
Exactly. To fill a tank to recommended level. Okay, top
Mm-hmm.
up. Top
Exactly.
up. Mm,
Perfect. May I erase it?
yeah, thank you.
Okay. So knowing that, we have, well, the book gave us an extension activity to
Mm-hmm.
get some just two more words in vocabulary, just two more words. So you can add this one here down in the
Access
book.
panel. Mm-hmm.
So this one will go like 10 vocabulary words, but we are gonna add two more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that you
Okay.
can use them. In this case, the word are access panel and filter.
Filter. Okay.
What's an access panel?
Well, an access panel. When we are talking to access,
About machinery and stuff like that.
yeah, about machines to access is necessary access panel to see the engine or see one compartment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Panels identify that like cover. I mean,
Okay.
it's necessary to open cover, open one cover to access engine. Um, so I think is that no access panel is different compartments
Mm-hmm.
in the vehicle or equipment.
Okay, perfect. And
Mhm.
yes, that's the part of it. And I have the meaning in here. It
Okay.
says a bodywork part designed to be
Uh-huh.
removed to allow the
Okay.
technicians to reach
Okay.
internal
Good.
parts, as you said, engines,
Yeah.
compartments, and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And what about the filter?
Filter. Okay. In this case, filter is we call that like well one more um, well it's a component that
Mm-hmm.
filter filter the particles into the oil
Mm-hmm.
and into the oil. So it's necessary to clean the circuit
Okay.
in the engine or in the hydraulic system. I don't know, in different systems and maintain always the cleaning the circuit, no? I
Yes,
think is that.
okay. So will remain filter as it says in there.
Mhm.
Material with small holes located in a flow of gas or liquid
Yes.
used to
Okay.
block the solid particles.
Solid particles. Okay. Use it to block solid particles. Good.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Great. So using this one, okay, let's go to the next page of our book.
The
Okay,
next page and
uh-huh.
13. Okay.
Yes, exercise 13, exercise A. So, um,
13.
a service technician is examining some machinery and talking to a colleague. The
Mm-hmm.
question in here is, what does he say about each point of the maintenance checklist?
Checklist. Okay.
They're going to talk about 5 different points: the coolant level, the
Okay.
coolant condition, the coolant filter condition, the blade wear or damage, and the blade alignment.
Mm-hmm.
So let's listen to this technician talking about the maintenance. Let's see what they mention about. So I'm going to click and listen carefully to the audio. Okay,
Okay.
let's see. Tell me if you're able to listen this.
5.5.
Okay.
Did you listen that?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so listen carefully to the conversation. We're
Good.
gonna play it twice.
Okay.
Okay, let's have a look at the coolant first. Oh, the level's okay.
It's full of residue, though, by the look of it.
Yeah, it looks a bit black, doesn't it? Time to change it, I think.
Okay. What's the filter like?
It looks reasonable to me.
Is it due to be changed?
It is if we follow the service program to the letter. The trouble is, if you do that, you end up wasting parts half of the time.
We can take it out and give it a bit of a clean. It'll be all right.
Okay, blades next. They look more or less okay to me. There are no signs of damage.
Yeah, no need to change those. They'll have moved a bit since they were last checked, though. The alignment will need to be looked at.
Sure.
Apart from that, it's not looking too bad.
Okay, I'm gonna play the listening one more time. So listen
Thank you.
carefully.
5.
Okay, let's have a look at the coolant first. Oh, the level's okay.
It's full of residue, though, by the look of it.
Yeah, it looks a bit black, doesn't it? Time to change it, I think.
Okay. What's the filter like?
It looks reasonable to me.
Is it due to be changed?
It is if we follow the service program to the letter. The trouble is, if you do that, you end up wasting parts half of the time.
We can take it out and give it a bit of a clean. It'll be all right.
Okay, blades next. They look more or less okay to me. There are no signs of damage.
Yeah, no need to change those. They'll have moved a bit since they were last checked, though. The alignment will need to be looked at.
Sure.
Apart from that, it's not looking too bad.
Okay. So according to the conversation between the technician and his colleague, what can we determine about the condition of the coolant level?
Mhm. The
So
coolant
according to conversation, how was the coolant level?
in this checklist, the coolant level is okay. No,
Yes, the coolant, and it's actually just that the coolant level
it's okay.
is okay. 2. What about the coolant condition?
I think he had some doubts in this case, but he mentions about
High residue.
residues or black particles.
Yes. That
Okay.
means that if you have black particles in a fluid, that
Uh-huh.
means that is full of residue.
Yes, full. Okay.
It's black.
Mhm.
What about the filter condition? Was it in good conditions? Did they need to change it or what?
Oh, he mentioned change later the filters. So looks r- it looks
It looks reasonably.
reasonable. Okay, reasonable, right? Okay,
Yes.
okay.
4. What about the blade wear?
Blade wear. Uh, I think one doubt about the blade, but he mentioned about it's okay. It's okay in this case.
It's okay.
Uh,
I mean, there are like no
he didn't see
signs.
damage. No, he didn't see.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And then we have the blade alignment. What about the alignment?
alignment, blade alignment to be looked at. I hear to be looked at. Need to be looked at. I think
Exactly.
this,
It will need to be looked at.
look at. Okay,
Perfect.
that's
Great.
okay. Mhm.
Tell me if I can raise it.
So just one doubt.
Mm-hmm.
About the blade. Blade is it the mirror or in mirror in the top of the roof, or is what is blade? Blade. I don't remember blade.
Oh, well, actually, we are gonna quite answer that in the next exercise. Okay. Why? Because the question of letter B, could you please read the question letter B?
The question letter B. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is the coolant. No, in this part or the before.
Yes.
Okay. The coolant condition. What is the coolant condition?
Oh, no, in the letter B, sorry.
And the letter B. This are working in aircraft or industrial machine.
Exactly. That's the
Technicians are
question.
working.
If you want to know which blade are they talking about, we need to know if they're talking about an aircraft or an industrial machine, because blade has different meanings according to the context.
Okay.
So, I mean, in general terms, blade, it's like a espada or cuchilla.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that? I mean, according to the conversation, they are working on an aircraft or on an industrial machine. What do you
And
think about?
in this case, an industrial machine. Industrial machine, no? Machine.
Yes, they're
Or
working on an industrial machine. Maybe something like a bulldozer because of the blade alignment, stuff like that.
right.
That's why I told you that first you need to know what are you working on.
Yes, I got it. Yes, blade.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And of course, they are working on an industrial machine as their decision is not to change the filter.
Exactly.
If we talk about aircraft, then it doesn't matter if the filter is well or not, you need to
Yeah.
change it
Yeah.
because that's unacceptable in aircraft maintenance standards.
Yes. In this case, the blade in Spanish is la hoja cortadora.
Aha. Yes, exactly. The
Yes.
one that they use to carry out
Yes.
the materials and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Okay. No problem. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Now, let's do see in here. We have, well, before we start this exercise, let me go back to the PowerPoint presentation and let's get out some more vocabulary about this before, and this is extension activity. So we have these four words, these
Mhm.
four extra words.
This one, external
We
visual
have
inspection.
external visual inspection,
Mhm.
alignment,
Alignment.
earthing, and short circuits.
So, okay.
Could you please help me getting some definitions to these words?
External visual inspection. When it's necessary,
Mm-hmm.
a visual around machine or around vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
external vision around vehicle, uh, for to the main function is identify abnormalities or filers in the
Yes.
equipment, or in the car or aircraft. No, I think is a visual inspection is a
Okay.
inspection. No, around machine. Mhm.
So we mean it says in here looking at the machine without dismantling anything.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, I mean you're just looking.
Uh-huh. Just looking.
Okay.
Okay.
Like when you enter to a shop and you say, "Oh no, I'm just looking," like that. What about the alignment?
Alignment. Well, in this case, alignment is uh, put a line, one, I don't know, one, mm, a line is um, keep
Mm-hmm.
the one line in point to point, um, in different systems.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know, one more. Keep one stride, stride between 2 point or align one belt, align one the
Yes.
belt. I don't know. In this case, I imagine that in one vehicle. No.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So, well, that's where the things are in line, parallel
okay.
with each other, like the blade that we said, the blade alignment,
Exactly. Yes.
and stuff like that. Yes, then
Okay.
we have the earthing.
Your team.
Earthing.
In this case, in aspects to electrical aspects, well, in this case, in
Exactly.
electrical aspects is when one cable
Hmm.
is earthing, maybe uh, it has a friction or touch one one part of the
Hmm.
chassis, and this provoke one. I don't know if this case is explosion, no, but maybe could be mm, a short circuit, or I don't know. In this case, uh, this kind of fires is an
Hmm.
electrical system
Yes, so that will be known as when electricity flows between a source
yes
of current and the ground.
on the ground, yes, on the ground.
And the last one will refers also to electrical topics such as a short circuit.
Okay, short circuit maybe
Hmm.
is when two cables or two electrical
Flows.
cables. Yes, flows that have well, in this case, they touch between two cables, and and
Mhm.
provoke mm, some abnormalities in the electrical function. Uh,
Like a dangerous high electric current, for example.
yes, very dangerous in this case.
Mhm. So in just to sum up, the short circuit, it's when electricity
A
flows
lit and neutral conduct.
between a live and a neutral conductor, but
Okay,
directly.
exactly.
I mean,
Yes,
it's not on the ground like the earthing, it's
no,
directly.
directly. Okay,
Perfect.
lit and neutral. Okay.
Okay, great. And let's go back now to letter number 14. And actually, it's quite the last exercise of the unit. We have an email and it says you work for IPS.
Mhm.
That means a producer of industrial packaging machinery. As a member of the global service team, your role is to travel abroad dealing with serious technical problems at
Okay.
your clients' plants. So you're going to read the following email from a plant in Helsinki and summarize the problem. Okay, so you have to summarize the problem. Okay, un resumen
Okay.
rápido
Yes.
así de
Mhm.
cuál es el problema.
Exactly.
Al grano. So could
Yes.
you please read the problem? It's from to Chris McLean. And it's the problem. It says the forklift damage to the IPS 15 Helsinki.
Mm-hmm. Is following our phone conversation this morning, I confirmed that a four-lift truck has hit our IPS 15 units.
Mhm.
The impact has made a large hole in the main panel on the side of the machine. Okay.
Okay.
Our technician, who is trained to carry out routine adjustment on the machine, has made an external visual inspection. He has advised me to the mechanism for
Mhm.
adjusting the precise alignment of the cutting blades have been damaged. Okay, okay, cutting blades.
Okay.
Liquid lubricant is also leaking mhm, out from under the machine. Okay, and a crackling sound can be heard inside the unit when it is switched on. Oops. Presumably due to earthing, mhm, short circuit resulting from electrical damage. Oops. I confirm my request for intervention by your service team. Okay. Vale. Several problems.
Yeah. So, I mean, in summarize, how would you summarize the problem? I mean, which ones are like the problems, basically?
Mhm.
We can
Well,
make a list, actually. I mean, one of the problems, for example, is leaking.
mhm, mhm.
Leaking under the machine. What else is the problem?
Liquid in the machine. Mhm. Uh, Here is the in this case the forklift
Mm-hmm.
had leaking,
Mm-hmm.
uh, oil leaking under this equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, liquid lubricant is leaking out under the machine.
Okay,
Mhm,
yes.
mhm,
So,
mhm,
in this part, well, the main idea in here,
mhm.
it's letter B. It says describe the sequence of
Mhm.
steps you will need to carry out the
Okay.
repairs. So do you imagine you are an IPS producer and you are a technician. So you are going to travel to Helsinki in Finland.
Mhm, mhm,
Okay, so
mhm.
we have in here, I'm gonna scroll down. You have these notes. You have IPS 15 Helsinki,
Okay.
and you have internal damage,
Mhm.
old parts, electrical supply on off, lubricant in out, external panels, alignment of cutting blades, test, and new parts. So
Good.
in this case, what I want you to do, and that's your homework actually, do you have to tell me the solution? I mean, the steps
Mhm.
to solve the problems.
No, I think in this case it's necessary evaluate like this technician. Uh, well, the next step, I mean, in my case, I drain the tank.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, oil tank. Um, check or review the damaged parts, and maybe replace that in this case if this is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
um, adjust the blades like that, uh, uh, in this case for that damage, and maybe order or reconnect the circuits, the electrical circuits, and supply new harness, or reconnect the new harness
Mm-hmm.
in this case. I mean, removed all parts like access panel. Access panel removed all parts to follow evaluate another components. No, I think
Yes.
is a process in this case. I think maybe use a use a new lubricants or fluid to this equipment,
Mm-hmm.
because with this oil leak is necessary change the fluids.
What else?
And maybe some test to the
Mm-hmm.
machine, some test of the machine.
Okay.
I think is that.
Well, and following like a process, as you said, I'm not writing here for the first one. It's to isolate
Mm-hmm.
the electrical supply, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once that you disconnect it, that means then you dismantle the
Okay.
external panels so that you can have access to the inner parts.
Okay.
Of
Dismantle the
course,
different parts.
as you said, we have to drain
Uh-huh.
the lubricant.
Exactly. Drain the
We
lubricant.
checked also, as you said, we checked the internal damage.
Mm-hmm. Internal damage. Yes.
We also remove the damaged parts, of course,
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
and replace them.
Replace. Mm-hmm.
Once we replace the new parts and stuff, we add the lubricant, maybe a
Yes.
new one, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
We adjust the blades
Mm-hmm.
and we put on external panel again.
Okay. Put an external panel. Yes.
Finally, we reconnected
Mm-hmm.
the electrical supply.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, as you said, we have to make a
Test.
test. You
Mm-hmm.
test the machine.
Mm-hmm.
So this one will be like the process, the parts that we have to do to solve these problems, okay?
Exactly.
Something similar to a repair process.
Mhm, mhm.
or an inspection, as you said.
Good. It's a
Hmm?
good process to solve the
Yes,
problem.
exactly. Perfect. And well, as you might see in here, that was the last part of Unit 5.
Exactly. Unit
That means
6.
half of the book.
Mhm,
We have done half book of until now. La mitad del libro.
mhm.
And okay, let me stop recording this.